The Edmonton Oilers are salivating at this opportunity as they have the chance to close out this series against the Vegas Golden Knights, and statistics are on their side. All that more today on Oilers Digest. Got myself the rookie Connor McDavid jersey on, and we are ready for Edmonton to eliminate the Vegas Golden Knights tonight. But 80% of you, almost 81% of you, have not hit that button down below to subscribe to the channel, so make sure you do so before we get into the rest of the video, folks. Make sure hit that button down below and subscribe here to Oilers Digest for any and all Oiler content. But without further ado, folks, waking up in Vegas, yes, on the cusp of a Game 5, a pivotal Game 5 for both the Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights tonight, 8:30 Central, 7:30 Mountain. The Oilers and Golden Knights at T-Mobile Arena. There, the Oilers hoping to get lucky tonight to eliminate the Vegas Golden Knights. And from Daniel Nugent-Bowman this morning, even though Kris Knoblauch and Jeff Skinner had an extended chat this morning, not really too sure what it was about, the Oilers will be rolling with the same lineup against the Vegas Golden Knights with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Connor McDavid, and Zach Hyman, Vasily Podkolzin, and Leon Draisaitl, Kasperi Kapanen on the second line for the second game in a row after being inserted for game number 4 there to give a boost to these Edmonton Oilers with Kane, Henrique, and Brown making up your third line. That was Edmonton's, best line all night long against the Vegas Golden Knights in game 4, hoping to keep that rolling tonight in Vegas with Trent Frederick, Matisse Janmark, and Corey Perry rounding out a very deep Oiler forward core. And you have Brett Kulak and Evan Bouchard on the back end there, making up your top pairing with Jake Walman and John Klingberg, the unsung heroes of this Oiler playoff run so far. And Darnell Nurse and Troy Stecher with Scoot Skinner getting his second consecutive start, coming off of a shutout win against the Vegas Golden Knights, a third consecutive start, I should say, coming off a shutout win against the Vegas Golden Knights in game number 4 there. So these Oilers, they are ready to roll. They are ready to get these handshakes done tonight there. And Kasperi Kapanen, 11 what I'm seeing from him back in the lineup there, of course, with Jeff Skinner and Kasperi Kapanen. I was wrong from the get-go there. I was hoping for Skinner over Kapanen, but Kasperi Kapanen, after that first period, laying the body on multiple Vegas Golden Knights, cementing a place in my heart there for these Edmonton Oilers. I love those gritty, hard-nosed kind of guys there. Said the atmosphere before the game was something that I've never experienced before. It was beautiful. That certainly helped my adrenaline and my energy levels. It was fun to be back now. He goes from that atmosphere in Edmonton to, a bit of a funeral atmosphere in Vegas tonight there. But hopefully Kasperi Kapanen keeps that same energy there, along with the rest of the Oilers here. Of course, depth scoring been a main storyline for the Oilers so far these playoffs. Corey Perry turning 40 in just a couple of days there, 5 goals on the postseason. Leon Draisaitl, he's looking very hurt there, but he's still his dominant postseason self there. Evan Bouchard with 4 goals. So you still need some more from your depth here, but I am loving what I'm seeing here. And shout out to Jake Walman. You're the bottom of the screen there, not really putting up the points there, but a plus 13 on the playoff run for him. Of course, I gave him his flowers yesterday in yesterday's video. Not just him, but John Klingberg, a very well-rounded second pairing for the Edmonton Oilers. And Kris Knoblauch confirmed the same lineup for the Oilers as Game 4 in the morning skate in Las Vegas. He also said he doesn't plan to chase the Draisaitl and Eichel matchup to the same degree with the Oilers on the road in without last change. Now, when it comes to Draisaitl and Eichel, Leon Draisaitl shutting down the Jack Eichel line. It wasn't just him, it was multiple others on the same unit with the Oilers, but, fantastic numbers from Bruce Krulak here. The Oilers chased the matchup against the Eichel line primarily with Draisaitl, Kasperi Kapanen, and Vasily Podkolzin, with Jake Walman and John Klingberg, and the Eichel line, multiple Eichel lines, but, the top line with him, Barbashev and Mark Stone, had a combined 1 shot on net, 1, which is not a recipe for success if you're Vegas. But for Edmonton, doing that, getting in the head of the star players on the Vegas Golden Knights, that is monumental there. You can just forget about that Olsen, Howard, and Pearson line, but you want to look at, the 3 Eichel lines there. Nothing suggests that they were, doing their own thing in game four. They're doing whatever they wanted, I should say. I mean, more shots against than shots for Jack Eichel and Mark Stone. I mean, they tried three different options with Eichel and Stone there, with Howden, Barbashev, and Dorofeev, and couldn't find something that worked there. Now, I know the Vegas Golden Knights do have last change, and they can get, the matchup that they want, but for Jack Eichel, I mean, the guy is, he is in a box right now, and the Oilers are getting in his head, not just his head, but also Adin Hill. But I mean, for these Oilers in Leon Draisaitl, just the importance of putting stats on the back burner is very important. He said, because I want to win, and I know sometimes that's what it takes to win. I can put my own stats on the back burner for a couple of months if that means we're going to be the last team standing. We got to play one good game. That's where our heads are at. Let's play one good game here tonight and gives ourselves a chance to move on. Now, when it comes to the Vegas Golden Knights here, lots of question marks here from Jesse Granger, one of the top Vegas Golden Knights reporters, said Mark Stone, Brandon Saad, Alex Pietrangelo, and Braden McNabb are not on the ice for morning skate. Lines and pairs are very mixed with fill-ins. Now, that could be, maintenance, or, guys are nursing something. But, Mark Stone, of course, he missed the last 40 minutes in game number 3. They're back on the ice for game 4 for the Vegas Golden Knights. But again, the stats I just showed you, not very dominant as we'd have expected Mark Stone to, be in the Stanley Cup playoffs. He's one of those guys that elevates his game to the top level. But, Saad, Pietrangelo, and Braden McNabb, all four of those guys, vets. So, again, could just be maintenance. But a projected Vegas Golden Knights lineup could look like this, with Brett Howden, Jack Eichel, and Victor Olofsson taking Mark Stone off of the top line, with Pavel Dorofeev, Tomas Hertl, and Mark Stone, like I just mentioned, with Ivan Barbashev, William Karlsson, and Riley Smith. And then rounding out these forwards here for Vegas, Tanner Pearson, Nicholas Waugh, and Keegan Kolesar. So Bruce Cassidy, in multiple games in this series, they're pulling out the blender. Not too sure what he's rolling with permanently. He's trying to find something that sticks, but so far nothing is sticking for him on the back end here. Again, projected. Didn't see McNabb or Pietrangelo out for morning skate, but it could look like something like this with McNabb and Shea Theodore, Noah Hannafin, Alex Pietrangelo, Nicholas Hague, in Zach Whitecloud. Now, on Monday night, Adin Hill, just, in the grill of every Oiler that passed by his crease there, especially guys like Zach Hyman, Evander Kane, so on and so forth, getting under his skin, and for the most part, it worked there, and he put up a 9.06 on Monday, but still couldn't get the Vegas Golden Knights the win there, looking very pedestrian against the Oilers, despite, putting up, I do believe it was like a 9.32 against the Oilers 2 years ago in that playoff run. But again, those nights and these nights, so very different there, and they're making Adin Hill look like a regular run-of-the-mill goaltender. Now for that, the Oilers, it could be a closing time for the Oilers. The stats when it comes to Oilers in clinching scenarios, very, very favorable there, and not just, their past history, but again, just common sense for the NHL and the playoff history there. When it comes to champsorchumps.com, your lovely, lovely site name, the NHL playoff odds up 3-1. Nearly 91% of the teams up 3-1 won the series overall, and despite some that do lose Game 5, there's still an 80% chance that they do win the series there. But there's still the odd time, that a team that does come back from 3-1. The Oilers have done it twice, in 1990 against the Winnipeg Jets, in 1998 against the Colorado Avalanche. But we haven't seen a team come back from 3-1 since the Florida Panthers in 2023 there. So the Oilers, very, very favorable. They got the odds on their side. Of course, knock on wood. I mean, stranger things have happened, but I'm very confident in the Oilers tonight. They smell blood in the water, and despite being on the road, they've managed to close out series on the road. Game 7 in Vancouver, they're Game 6 against LA in 2023, so they've done it at home and on the road there, and they are ready for it. From Preston Hodgkinson here, the Oilers have won 7 of their 8 potential series clinchers since 2022, and the one loss, unfortunately, yes, I'm going to reopen an old wound here, Game 7 of the 2024 Stanley Cup final. The guy between the pipes, they got the right one tonight. I mean, Stuart Skinner, I've been harping on this guy, but when it comes to being in the clutch in series clinchers, Stuart Skinner has been phenomenal there. From Lieutenant Eric of Edmonton Sports Talk Radio, Stuart Skinner is 4-1 with a .912 save percentage in series clinching games. So, of course, the man I could, complain about him all day long, but he knows when to get it done when the Oilers, again, smell blood in the water. Not just that, but I mean, if the Oilers do wrap it up in 5 games, lots of rest time before the Western Conference Final. Still waiting on, the other Western Series with Dallas and Winnipeg. Dallas also up 3 games to 1, heading back to Winnipeg for a crucial Game 5 there. So hopefully that series gets extended. But for the Oilers in rest, Kris Knoblauch, acknowledges that, they still got a job to do, but the rest after a very short series, or a potential short series, don't get me for that in the comments for jinxing the team, but a short series could help out these Oilers on the injury front, especially with a guy like Mattias Ekholm and Calvin Pickard waiting in the wings. Says there are a lot of benefits of winning that next game. You don't give that opportunity for Vegas to put together a string of wins, and wins, I should say, and then also the ability for us to have some downtime. Guys can rest and not add to the bumps and bruises through the playoffs. It's a physical game, but I think right now it's about not allowing Vegas the opportunity to win a few games, because the longer this series goes, the more you give Vegas that hope. But hopefully the Oilers get it done tonight. I mean, I got one of my lucky jerseys on. There should be a window for the Oilers to have the handshakes in tonight's game, or after tonight's game, after they beat the Vegas Golden Knights. But that is it for today's video. Let me know down in the comments, how hopeful are you for the Oilers in this Game 5 there. I mean, sure, if they lose, again, they still have an 80% chance of winning the series, and you got to bring Aiden Hill back to Rogers Place, where the fans will not leave that man alone, chanting Aiden all night long. But again, a very, very confident in these Oilers tonight. But again, let me know down in the comments what you think, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel here, folks. But again, let's go Oilers. Let's get into the Western Conference Final again, against potentially the Dallas Stars or Winnipeg Jets. But you got guys like Connor McDavid, Evan Bouchard, Leon Draisaitl. They are hungry for Lord Stanley's Cup, and they will not let any team get in their way. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the game tonight. Let's go Oilers. I'm Matt.